we want to be fulfilled in our own selves before we go connect with other people.
Right.
And that's one of the misconceptions about finding your tribe is that you need to just be around people.
Hi, and welcome to Self Talk. I'm your host, Rachel Astarte. Today, I'm so excited to have back to the show Coach Lee Hopkins. Coach Lee is a transgender man who helps people create lasting friendships. After struggling with loneliness most of his life, he's developed various ways to discover himself in it. And today, we're going to be talking about a very special event he is preparing for all of us coming in August. Coach Lee, I'm going to let you take it away. It is called the Annual Social Connections Summit, and I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about it.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here. As you said, I help people make friendships, and this is what the summit is all about. It's a 2-day social wellness and relationship building event. It's going to be chock full of speakers who are going to share information about how to make authentic connections. We're going to talk about some personality tests because you and I know, you and I both know that it starts with us. The connections with others starts with us.
Yeah.
And what better way to know more about yourself than to get a little personality test and see how that works for you. And we'll be having conversations, like authentic conversations with others. So it's not an event where you're just going to come and you're going to listen. You're actually going to be able to apply the information that you get. You're going to be able to make real connections with people based on what you learn. And I'm delighted to be here because you're also going to be speaking.
Yeah.
You're also going to be presenting, and I'm so excited about this.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell us, so just so that people know who are listening, I'll be talking about women in midlife making connections with one another, and also bringing those connections out into the world as mentors. But we'll save that for the event.
The
But
events.
that's the topic. So I'll be working specifically with and for women in midlife. But tell me some of the other types of speakers that you'll have.
Oh, yeah. So some of the speakers that we're going to have focus on specific issues with others. Like one of our keynote speakers is a Black man who's talking about being Black and queer and LGBT, which is all of me,
Mm-hmm.
and talking about the connections that we make in those spaces with our family, with our friends, being that person. And we have others who are going to be coaching. They're going to coach about how to make authentic connections when you don't know what to say, you don't know
Mm-hmm.
how to say it, you don't know who to talk to, feeling comfortable in your own skin. Body language, we're going to talk about those kind of things and how you show up in places. And if you intentionally or unintentionally go off a vibe that doesn't radiate with people, we want to know more about ourselves so that we can change that because you do have the power to do that. So this is going to be a very empowering event.
Yeah. And this is the core of everything that you do is bringing people
Absolutely.
together, which I found so fascinating when I first met you because um, I don't see anybody else really doing that specific kind of work, about how we show up in relationships and friendships and connections with other people. And also, and this is also on the summit website, but um, helping us to find our tribe. And
Hmm.
that's a big deal. So I wonder if you could talk for a second about what does it
Absolutely.
mean to find your tribe?
Yeah,
It's a
absolutely.
big thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, part of my story was that I have been searching for my tribe and I've been given this really lame advice. And it's lame because there was no actionable steps, but the advice was be yourself. And I'm like, I am doing that. It's not working. It's
Hmm.
not working. So what am I doing? The question then became, what am I doing that was myself that people aren't attracted to? And I tried to
Hmm.
change that. I tried to fix it. I tried to make it so other people would like me. But it only became until it only really, I've only really found my tribe after I discovered that who I am is enjoyable to me. and I like being myself and I don't need to compare to other people. And so
Beautiful.
that process of knowing more about yourself and who you are and liking yourself and going out and saying, "Hey, world, I am here,"
Mm-hmm.
is going to attract your tribe. That is the thing that's going to do it. It's right to be yourself. That is correct. But the steps and how to do it and the shame and the rejection and all those ugly pieces that come along with being yourself is what keeps us kind of stuck. And we're just like, people don't like me and they're supposed to instantly like me, but they're not going to. It's the mindset shift that helps you find your tribe. Like, not everyone's going to like you, and that's okay as long as you like you. You will find your tribe.
Or they will find you.
They will find
Yeah.
you.
It's almost like magnetism, I've found. I can say, even, for example, as a therapist, and I know a lot of other coaches and therapists out there experience this. Sometimes when we're going through something, maybe you can identify with this too. We're going through something personally, and then all of a sudden, the only people who contact you to make appointments are going through the exact same thing. And you haven't done anything, you haven't said it, like in your personal life, you're going through something, and then your clients seem to, like, through the ether, they're just coming to you. Like, how did they know that this is exactly what I'm working on right now? So I love that idea that this is how we find our tribe, and just by being who we are and putting that out in the world, which is the same message that I give to women in midlife, except I call it mentorship, because we're also putting our stuff out there for younger people, so that they can maybe avoid some of the isolation and confusion that we felt when we were in our 20s and 30s.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's super important. And, I can relate to that. I'm transgendered now, but I went through the process of feeling isolated and alone and wishing I had mentorship when I was in my 20s and early 30s before I transitioned. I didn't know
Wow.
what to do. I felt alone in my feelings about dating, relationships with other people, how to get along with my coworkers, all kinds of things. And presenting as women in those spaces, there's something special and important to know about that.
Yeah, very important. Okay, so you talk also in the summit is really about, as you put it, connection, community, and camaraderie. And to me, they are all a flavor of the same kind of thing. Is there a difference, or are they all kind of, part of this one big, wonderful thing that you're pulling together?
I like the alliteration.
Don't we love alliteration? I know. Are you a writer by any chance?
I write just a little bit,
Yeah.
yes, but I do. To answer your question, though, I really do think that they're all the same kind of flavor, little nuances in the way
Yeah.
we talk about those things. This connection, maybe I think of it as being really close, and camaraderie is like, hey, let's hang out every once in a while. And community, those are like the people who are groups of people that are in your circle that you can count on and connect with or talk to.
Right. Beautiful. And so all that is kind of coming together in the summit. And about how many people do you have presenting or coaching or paneling in the summit right now?
So right now I have about 30 people. There's a combination of the roles that these people are going to play. That we have presenters, so we've got three keynote speakers, and we have smaller presentations where they're more interactive, so you can actually talk to the person after they give their presentation, ask questions, because this is a community we're creating of camaraderie and connection, right? We want you to be able to ask questions and talk to the person who's sharing information. And then we're also going to have some breakout sessions, so you can go in and further have more conversation with whoever it is that struck an interest with you, or you've resonated with. We want you to be able to have a conversation with them. And then I think one of the most interactive pieces of this is the pieces where we're doing coaching. So we'll be doing a couple live coaching sessions, so group coaching, hot seat coaching. So we'll have 2 hot seat coaches. And then on top of that, because I just want everybody to connect and feel heard, appreciated, understood, have conversation, and have their voices heard. We have one-to-one coaches that are going to be doing laser coaching sessions. So 15-minute coaching sessions. You choose the coach you want to talk to for 15 minutes, have a discussion with them, and you'll feel heard, appreciated, understood, because everybody in this event is about connection and community.
Yeah, it sounds like the summit itself is just this great big gathering of people, very like-minded people.
Absolutely.
Oh, how beautiful. So as the organizer, are you going to be presenting as well?
I am going to be presenting. I almost forgot to put myself in there.
You're caring about everybody else.
Yeah.
So you are going to be, okay,
I'm
beautiful.
going to be presenting, yes.
Awesome. So what is the overall goal? If this goes off exactly as, and it will, but if it goes off exactly as you want it to, what would you hope to get out of this for yourself and for everybody else? So it's a two-part question.
Okay. So full transparency for myself. I have been looking for my tribe, right? I've said that and I'm still doing it. I'm still working to find the people who are like-minded. And the more of me that I show, the more I will attract my tribe. And here it is, it's happening. The coaches, the speakers, the presenters are so much like me. I feel such a vibe with them. Look at us, we're here. You and me, we're here.
Yeah.
That is what I hope to get out of it, is
Right.
by being so bright that I attract the people that I want to be with. And then also looking back at Lee, who was 20 years ago in his early 20s, he really suffered. He was not able to connect with anybody.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm helping my past self by creating this space for people who just haven't found their tribe yet, just don't know what it is. Maybe they've been given really crappy advice, generic advice rather, that says just be yourself. But how? How do you get through the icky parts of it? And so bringing those people together, having community, talking about their experiences and feeling lonely or rejected, talking about how they miss their friendships or how they wish to create new friendships, but also giving them the skills to do so, take action on those pieces. So I feel fulfilled in every single way with this event.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Mm,
And so you're hoping that other people will be able to find their tribes as well.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So here's an obvious question. Why is that important?
I like how you preface it with an obvious question. We can't do anything alone. I don't think that we can do things alone. Together, it's better. The sense of loneliness and it is really harming. It hurts us. In fact, the Surgeon General has been talking about this quite a bit lately. Loneliness is the number one reason that people quit their jobs. They don't feel like they belong in places. They
Right.
don't do well in society because they want somebody to understand how they feel about their experiences. And if they don't have anybody there that they can rely on or support, they we just don't feel great. We just don't feel like we want to be here, for lack
Right.
of better words.
Right, right. And if you're feeling lonely, which is a very different thing from being alone, we'll talk about that in a second. But loneliness is really takes its toll on your nervous system.
Mm.
You know, it's depressing the nervous system. It's and it's a stressful feeling. It's not pleasant, you know, and that can lead to illness as well. I think that's also, I think I read that Surgeon General report as well, or the news about it, that it really is, it can cause you to become very ill and physically ill.
Physically ill, yeah. And spiritually speaking, I mean, we've been talking, spiritual people have been talking about this kind of thing for a long time, just emotions and getting them out. If you keep them in, it's going to make you sick. And I think science is really trying to show that
Yeah.
in your nervous system. We talk about the vagus nerve
Right.
and all kinds of things that keep you feeling well, that doesn't really have to do with science, if that makes sense. I'm thinking about the spiritual piece, but also the social wellness. There's a social wellness piece. That's what I mean. It affects your physicality. It affects your physical condition.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So the next question is on that same vein. there are people, and I do include myself in this. I love solitude. I am a kind of person who can be alone in my house for weeks at a time and never see another soul. I'm very comfortable with that. I like to talk to my friends on the phone or whatever, but I'm not a person who feels like I have to go and be with other people. But I still feel very drawn to your work and to your event. So how would you speak to someone who maybe isn't a people person about why this is still so important? Like someone who
Wow.
really, yeah. So people like me, I'm fine by myself and I'm not lonely. That's why I wanted to make
Uh,
a difference between lonely and alone. Like I
right.
feel very beautifully fulfilled in my life and all of those things. I have nature, and I do have people in my life. It's a very small circle, but I do have people. But I love what you're doing. So explain that.
That is, I keep smiling so big because that is it. Rachel, we want to be more like you. We want to be fulfilled in our own selves before we go connect with other people.
Right.
And that's one of the misconceptions about finding your tribe is that you need to just be around people. Well, you
Mhm.
need to like yourself and be fulfilled within yourself before you're around those people because it's
Yeah.
not going to fit. It's not, they're going to be looking for something in them that is in you. And so when you
Mhm.
discover that thing inside of you, whatever it is that you feel like you're missing, and as a therapist, I know you help people dig into that, whatever
Mhm.
it is that you believe that you're missing, you can find it within yourself.
Yes.
So when you do feel fulfilled, then you can share that with another person. And that's what I talk about is being and understanding and connected with yourself so that you can share with another person. And that's what makes the connection. If you don't have anything to share, it's going to be hard to connect. If you don't like what you're
Mhm.
sharing, it's
Mhm.
going to be hard to connect.
Right.
So I think you're drawn to this because I want to help people feel more like you in the space. You're not lonely. You
Mhm.
just like spending time alone. And
Mhm.
anybody who is fulfilled and who they are loves themselves and
Mhm.
can't get enough of who they are and definitely want to spend time with themselves, doing things
Right.
that bring them joy.
Yeah, beautiful. And even further, what can happen if you're not doing, and thank you so much for explaining that so well, that when we don't do the inner work,
Mm,
when we aren't, what we end up doing, if we're not comfortable with ourselves, if we are in fact seeking other people so that we feel validated, that's not a great energy to be bringing to a group.
hmm.
Right.
Not at
So,
all.
yeah. So, what you're doing is you're like leeching off of the
Yep.
energy of the other people, and they're going to be able to pick up on that. Whereas if we are centered and grounded and loving our lives, imagine what beauty you can bring to the group of people. Right. And
Hmm.
they're doing the same. And then we're just kind of elevating beyond words that I can think of right now.
Exactly. We're all building love and trust
Right.
and connection and community. You know, when you bring yourself, well, one of the added bonuses is when you bring yourself, you become trustworthy. I like the point at the trusting piece of it
Yeah.
because, you know, people believe that you have their best interest in mind if you always act in your own best interest. I guess this is what I think. If you like yourself and you do things that enrich yourself, you do things that are great for you, and you bring that energy to the space and you invite people because it's a demonstration of you being like, hey, I care about myself and I'm in a space with people who I know care about me too. Cause that's all I do is care for myself. I'm gonna
Hmm.
be with people who care for themselves and they're likely gonna care for me too.
Hmm.
Bringing that kind of energy into it, showing that, you know, you're great. I like you. I like you
Right.
so much that I show up authentically for you.
Yes,
Mm,
yes. And I don't need anything from you.
need
I
anything
choose
from
to
you.
have that exchange, right? That's a
There you
beautiful
go.
distinction. And
Hmm.
and all of this, um, when we get people like that together, now I'm going to go into science. Sorry, I'm a geek. The quantum field, right? The quantum
Hmm.
field that connects all of us, right? That is being infused with such amazingly generative and creative energy and loving energy, and that gets spread
Yes.
across all of creation, the known universe and beyond. So when we really think about it from a scientific perspective, that we are generating the world that we want to live in. Imagine having, I'm thinking about this summit, like all these people together for 2 days generating all this good stuff.
It's going to be great.
And people are walking around on the street going, it feels really nice. I don't understand. Why do I feel so good? Because we're doing this and it's going out through the field. Beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. We combine our energies together and just spread it.
Love
you
it.
have no idea. Well, I can imagine how powerful it is, how people are going to be affected. But man, it is always so intense.
Yeah. And it's always good to just send that energy out there, let collective consciousness, have a little dose of goodness and love. I love it. Yes. Okay. So let's talk about how people can sign up for this thing. Where should they go?
Oh, yes. Go to patternsofpossibility.com and you will find the link and you can go ahead and sign up right there.
Okay, beautiful. And of course, you can read more about it. I've read through it a few times. It's really pretty amazing what's coming up. So I will make sure that the link is in the show notes. And I just want to give an extra thank you to you, Coach Lee. Is there anything else you want to close out with?
I am really grateful to be on your show. And I just thought of something. I'm like, well, this is the second time that I've been here. I think your viewers or your listeners can be rewarded, I guess, by listening to me twice. I'd like to offer 25% off of the ticket prices. I think that'd be I'm really grateful and appreciative. And I think your audience would bring a really great vibe here. So I'm going to leave that link with you.
Okay.
Yeah. I won't share it with anybody else.
Don't share it. It's just for us. Thank you so much, Coach Lee. That is a lovely gift. And I will make absolutely sure we put that in the show notes so people can to take advantage of that. Thank you so much for being here yet again. You're always welcome back. And I'm really looking forward to the summit.
Yes. Thank you so much, Rachel.
Hi, this is Rachel Astarte from the Self-Talk podcast. I'd love for you to send me your emails with questions or stories about yourself. What are you looking for? What are your questions? What are you grappling with in your own personal life that has to do with your identity, with yourself, with your very existence? These are the things that we're going to talk about during the podcast. And go ahead. It's all right. Get deep. I can handle it. So send them to Rachel@selftalkpodcast.com. And I'll see you on the next episode.